Alright, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to The King's Speech. So I just finished recording my Volume 3 read-through reaction review for Yona of the Dawn. So right on the heels of that, I'm going to dive straight into Volume 4 and kind of close out this portion of the read-through reaction series. So no big introduction. This time we're just going to dive straight into Volume 4. With Chapter 18, The Dragon's Claws. So we have Huck and Gija just still sniping at each other. As Huck goes, "You must be exhausted, Whitesnake. You're no seasoned traveler." And Gija's getting embarrassed and annoyed. He's like, "Call me Whitesnake one more time and I'll rip your throat out. I'm not remotely tired." And Huck's like, "You must be getting homesick by now, huh?" And Gija's like, "Hardly. Her Highness wishes me here." And you have, "She wants me to protect you when you're in trouble." And Huck's like, "Can a sheltered kid like you even fight?" And Yona gets tired of their bickering and just punches both of them. And she's like, "Settle down. We're going to be traveling together, so stop fighting." And Gija goes, "Please, forgive me, Your Highness." And then you have Yona dressing down Huck going, "Huck, Gija's never been out in the world before. He's nervous. Don't pick on him." Gija's like, "I'm not." And Huck's like, "Gija." Or no, Yona's going, "Gija, Huck's hobby is picking on people, so just ignore him." And you have Yun coming up behind him going, "Gija, I'm Yun, genius pretty boy. Nice to meet you. You can sense where the other dragons are, right? Show me where the nearest one is." So Gija just kind of closes his eyes as he contemplated for a moment. He goes, "The one closest to us is probably the blue dragon." And Yun's like, "You can even tell who it is?" He's like, "Where is he?" And so he points off in the woods somewhere. He's like, "Somewhere in that direction." And Yun's like, That's not very specific." And he goes, "What? Not to worry. Follow me, everyone." And he's just taking off with his little white flag as a marker. And then Yun's like, "Of course we're going to worry. Following someone who's never gone anywhere is worrying." And Gija's like, "I don't have to have been out here to know about the world. My tribe gathered information from across the nation." And so the next panel is a slip and an as Gija falls down this little embankment and lands on the ground. And he sees all kinds of creepy crawlies like spiders and centipedes and everything around him. And he's like, "What are these creatures? Who permitted them to live here?" He's like, "Wait, stop. Don't come near me. No, stop. Stay back." Yun's like, "How about we take the lead, White Dragon?" And Huck's just teasing him like, "So, a dragon god can't even stand up to some bugs?" And he's like, "That's not it. I just don't like creepy, crawly, squishy things." And he goes, "My divine power was bestowed upon me by the glorious White Dragon. It's far beyond ordinary people." And Huck's like, "How nice for you. Like I'm going to trust some ancient moldy power." Gija's like, "What? Do you wish to face it right now?" And he's like, "Well." And then both he and Gija seem to notice something. And then Yona's like, "Huck?" And he goes, "Hide, princess. Someone's coming." And Yona's like, "Can you tell who?" And Huck's like, "I can tell. There's lots of them." And Gija goes, "Those aren't the footfalls of refined individuals." Yun goes, "Not good. We're too close to the Fire Tribe's lands." And Gija's like, "Are you and the Fire Tribe enemies?" And Huck's like, "Basically, yep." And Yona's like, "Question, Huck, can I use my bow?" And he goes, "Permission denied. Hide, I said." And Yona walks off in a huff with Huck's belongings. And you hear, "Hey, we found ourselves some folks to rob. Doesn't look like they've got much, though." And you see them surrounded by a group of scruffy little bandits. And Huck's like, "Oh, it's just bandits." He's like, "Does that disappoint you?" And then you see the bandits commenting, "But they got a couple of girls." And Yun's like, "I'm a pretty boy." So one of the bandits comes up and takes out his knife and just taps it on Gija's face. He's like, "Now this fella's well dressed and has a pretty face." Gija's like, "Hey, I don't yet know the details of your situation, but you don't mind if I tear them to shreds, do you?" Huck's like, "Go ahead, or feel free to hide." Gija's like, "Hide? Whatever for?" And you see him slumping over and starts shaking. Bandit's like, "Huh? What's with you? You're shaking." He goes, don't worry. If you do as we say, we won't kill you. And you see an and a crack. And the bandit just falls back with an One of the other bandits like, what's wrong? He's like, I don't know. His arm burned me. The other bandit's like, huh? Don't be stupid. And you see that he's just like holding his arm like this. And you see it elongating and throbbing as it starts elongating. And he goes, you shouldn't touch me so carelessly. This power has waited thousands of years to protect its master. Even I cannot control it. And the bandit starts screaming. He's like, what's with his arm? And Ghidra goes, sorry for the weight, arm of the white dragon. And he just swings this gigantic looking dragon arm through all the bandits and just completely slashes through them. So I mentioned in the Volume 3 review at the end that I don't know how much magic is going to start being an element of this series, and I think we can now say it's probably going to be a big element considering that he just grew a dragon arm. And you have the band screaming, he's a monster! And Huck's taken aback by this a little bit. So he goes, so, the dragon shows his claws, huh? He's like, I didn't figure you'd be so brutal. And Gita's like, no, it's not enough. So, Huck, shall I protect you, as your highness commanded? And Huck's like, don't bother. I could do this blindfolded. And he takes off the covering of his spear. And he slashes through some of the other bandits. The bandits like, what are they? They're barely human. And Huck's like, rude. The white snake's plenty weird, yeah, but I'm a normal guy. And you see a whoa as a swish as he leans back as Guy just taking a swipe at him. And Huck's like, watch where you're swinging, white snake. Guy just like, I believe I said I'd tear your throat out if you called me that. Huck's like, don't mind me. It's my hobby, remember? But you seem to be a little too into this. You have one of the bandits going, show off. And Ghidra goes, protecting your highness is the greatest joy of my life. Oh, that's what is Huck's weapon. I kept trying to think of what the name was, and it's a glaive, not a spear. He goes, also your glaive is getting in my way. And Huck's like, the four dragons sure are single-minded. And so Ghidra goes, so why do you protect her highness? He goes silent for a minute, and he decides to give a sarcastic response. He does a bleh. He's like I'd tell someone I just met, you idiot. He's like, what? Idiot? And you see Huck just crashing in to take out some more bandits. And as you're just watching him fight, he goes, I took him for nothing but a weak human, but he's tremendously powerful. I hate to admit it, but his strength nearly equals my dragon arm. And you see Yun just watching off from the side. He's going, there's something seriously wrong with those two. Unbelievable. He goes, he just seems like he belongs to a whole other world. The Thunder Beast attacks don't seem humanly possible. He's that fast. You have Yona just watching alongside him. And Yun goes, want to make yourself useful? And Yona's like, Huck told me to keep out of it. I'm staying here. And Yun goes, but isn't this exactly the kind of situation you're training for? So Yona gets ready and knocks an arrow. She goes, by my calculations, oh no, that's Yun telling her, by my calculations, from this distance there, that guy's trying to attack the Thunder Beast from behind. Aim a bit higher, now! And you see Yona loosing the arrow, and it goes and strikes the guy in his hand. And they're like, yes! He's like, amazing, Yun, you're a much better teacher than Huck. Yun's like, I'm good at explaining it, but not so great at actually hitting anything. You see one of the bandits making his way up behind him going, don't move a muscle, little ladies. We'll just be taking you hostage. And as he tries to grab him, you see a swish and a kawam as Huck and Ghidra both come flying in and just smack him into the ground. And Huck catches her, so Yona falls back with a thud. And he's like, are you alright, princess? At the same time as Ghidra goes, are you unharmed, your highness? And Yona's like, thanks, both of you. And Yona's like, you guys are such a pain. And you see, is it over already? And Ghidra's like, how many did you defeat? And Huck's like, oh, I wasn't counting. Ghidra's like, I beat 28. Huck's like, then I got 30. Ghidra's like, liar, you just said you didn't know. There weren't even that many of... them, and you see him just starting to wobble and topple over. And Yona's like, Gija. He's like, ah. He's like, Gija, are you all right? And he's like, yes, I went a little wild, that's all. I'd wish to show you a more refined fighting style. Huck's like, well, I kind of liked it. The White Dragon God's a vicious piece of work. This is great. Back at the palace, there wasn't anyone who could give me a real workout. You and me, we should spar. And you see Huck just also toppling over with a flump. And he's like, Yona's like, did he die? Yona smacks him. He's like, no, he did not. Oh no, that's Gija says, did he die? And Yona's like, he just opened his wounds again, the dolt. His injuries haven't fully healed yet. He acts fine, but he's a mess. So they lay him down to rest. They open his robe, and you see his bandages start to get bloody from his wounds opening. And Gija's surprised. He's like, but he still moved like that? What a remarkable man. Is he a monster? And Yona's like, oh, you're one to talk. He goes, the sun's setting. We need to find somewhere to sleep. Gija's like, are there lodgings in these parts? And Yona's like, we're sleeping outside. Gija's like, outside? And Yona's like, just bring up the rear White Dragon. He's like, this is why I hate rich people. And then he's like, hey, what are you doing? And you see Yona just grabbing Huck by his hair and just trying to drag him along. And he's like, he'll go bald if you do that. And Yona's like, Huck can't move, so I need to move him. So then Gija just comes up and just hoists him up on his shoulder. And Yona's like, wow, Gija, you sure are strong. And he goes, my dragon arm is over 10 times stronger than a normal man's. And then he's like, oh, but only my right arm. As Yona tries to give him the quiver of arrows, you see his left arm is starting to wobble. And you see his left hand isn't strong at all. And you see Yona looking concernedly at Huck. And Gija's like, he'll be fine. He's like, He's like, yeah, Huck is awfully strong. He's always protected me. But someday I want to protect him. You may have spent your life within the palace, but you're very strong, your highness. Yona's like, no, I'm not. And Gija goes, those bandits didn't seem to distress you overmuch. And Yona goes, I'm not afraid of bandits. After that night, nothing else seems scary anymore. And she goes, oh, Ewan's calling us, let's go. And Gija's like, of course. And he goes, I don't know whether it's due to the blood of the White Dragon that was bestowed upon me to protect the Crimson Dragon King, but I want to support her. She's frail and seems on the verge of tears, but she's trying to become stronger, and I wish to give her my strength. We have chapter 19, This Way and That. And you have Gija just putting up some what looks like some kind of leaves, and he's like, what is this? And Yun's like, it's dinner, what about it? And then Gija's like, dinner? These are weeds you picked up while we were on that mountain path. I saw you. And Yun's like, they're not weeds, they're edible wild plants. No one's forcing you to eat it. Besides, weeds are edible too. Just be glad we're not having bugs tonight. And you just taken aback by this, like, bugs? You eat bugs? Yun's like, they're nutritious. And Gija's like, your highness, are you alright with food like this? And he's like this? And Yona's like, I still can't handle bugs, but otherwise I'm used to it. And she just makes this deadpan, disappointed face. She's like, it's not as if I have a choice. Liking it isn't relevant. And she goes, but since Yun joined us, the food's been much tastier. It was just terrible when it was just me and Huck. He's like, wait, why are you crying? Is Gija just thinking to himself, her highness has had such a cruel journey. And you see that Huck's finally awake. He's like, what was that about my food? It's like, I'm not going to take that. Yona's like, you're Huck, you're awake. How's your injuries? He's like, injuries? What are you talking about? And don't change the subject. What about my food? And Yona's just beaming. And she's like, I don't know what you mean. Are you saying you're hungry? And you see Huck being like, I see you've learned to dodge my questions. You have someone going, can you move? Want me to feed you? Now say, ah. And you see Gija just angrily coming up and snatching the food out of Yona's hands and going, your highness, allow me to take on such menial tasks. And Huck's like, things were just getting good, you stupid snake. And Gija's like, you've got some nerve trying to get her highness to feed you. And Yun's like, now that we've eaten, we've got to find the blue dragon's location. Gija, where do you feel the blue dragon? He kind of just gets up and goes, I vaguely sense something over that way. He's like, oh, thanks, you're a big help. And Yuna asks, does the blue dragon have a village like you, or is he on his own? And Gija goes, to be honest, I'm not sure. Information gathered by my comrades across the nation suggests that the blue dragon's people once lived in Earth tribe lands, but one day the whole village disappeared. No one saw his people again after that. Yuna's like, disappeared? But it wasn't destroyed, right? And Gija just nods and he goes, when I close my eyes, I can sense the blue dragon's pulse. And Yun goes, Iksu said that all the dragons but you had relocated. The blue dragon's tribe probably moved their entire village. Gija is pointing northeast toward the fire tribe. There are 6 or so places where a village could be. And Yona asks, have you ever been there, Yun? And he goes, no, but there are towns in the area that are only rivaled by the city of Saika. Merchants travel the roads here, and aristocrats have villages in this area. And Yun goes, so if we're looking for unpopulated, unremarkable areas, we can narrow it down to about 6. So Yona just comes up and just starts patting his head, and she's like, you know everything, don't you, Yun? He's like, could you not treat me like a little kid? I'm only a year younger than you. So it notes that he's 15 years old. So he goes, all right, tomorrow we'll start searching for the blue dragon in earnest, so good night. Gija's like, good night? Wait, we're sleeping here? Yona's like, good night. He's like, but wait. And you see, shut up, White Snake. You see next morning, you see a withered, dried out, husky-looking Gija who has not slept well. And Yona's like, eek, there's something wrong with your beautiful face. And he's like, oh, I was like, sorry for looking unsightly. And Huck's like, hey, there's a bug on your back. And Gija just rakes off running, screaming. And Yona's like, wait, Gija, Huck was only joking. And Yona's like, quiet down, you ridiculous animals. Like, listen, we're going to be in a town and we're in Fire Tribe territory. Try to be inconspicuous. Not that that's possible. So as they head into this village, you see Yun looking at Gija as he's closed his eyes, trying to sense the presence of the blue dragon. He opens them and sighs and goes, he's not here. Yun's like, I guess it won't be that easy. Our next stop is about 10 li from here. And you see 1 li is a Chinese equivalent of distance, a Chinese unit of distance that's equal to about 1,600 feet. And you see Huck going, wait, we can't go there. The Fire Tribe is a military training ground there. Yun's like, huh? Like, what about there? And Huck's like, that area has been developed recently. And he's like, Gaff, going there would have been bad. And you see Yona coming up and be like, Gija, what's wrong? And he goes, nothing. And Yun goes, I figured it out. It's a lot of walking, but I've narrowed the possibilities down to 3. The village is probably in one of those spots. Yona's like, really? And Yun goes, you know more than I expected, Thunder Beast. And he goes, well, I was a general. That means knowing the different tribes' armies' movements. Yun's like, tell me more sometime. It's like, all right, let's hit the road. So you see another montage as they're sneaking their way through. And you see Gija just motioning that no, the blue dragon is not there. You see, sense anything, Gija? He just nods his head. And Yun's like, this spot's no good either. And you see Gija pointing to this mountainous area. He goes, I vaguely sense something that way. It's like, what? Even farther? Yun's like, I don't get it. We've been to all the possible spots. If we go any further, we'll be in the Kai Empire. I hope the blue dragon didn't cross the border. Huck's like, maybe your nose is stuffed, White Snake. Gija's like, I'm not tracking him by smell. Do you think I'm a hound? And you see Yona sitting off to the side, and Gija goes, did you hurt your leg, Your Highness? And she goes, no, I'm fine. Just tired, that's all. And she's just massaging her ankles. And you see Yuna just gives her a little gourd. He goes, drink this. And Yona drinks, and she's like, it's tasty. What is it? And he goes, low-cat liqueur. It's good for fatigue. I'll rub honeywort on your legs. Get some rest for now. He's like, wow, Yun, you know so much. You see that night as everyone's fallen asleep, you see Gija just sitting off to the side, just uncomfortably awake, being like, why must I sleep in a place like this? Everyone is exhausted. We've been on the move for days, staying hidden and taking indirect routes. And he just starts getting a little bit angry. He's like, if I could sense angry and frustrated. He goes, if I could sense the location of the other dragons more accurately, Her Highness wouldn't be so wary. Hak and Yun's knowledge is all we can rely on. This is so frustrating. Blue Dragon, brother who shares my dragon blood. I'm calling out to you again and again. Our master is searching for you. Are you out there waiting? Don't you long for your ruler? You see the next day, next morning, as Gidra wakes up and he's like, oh, I fell asleep. And he hears the thunk. He's like, what's going on? And he sees Yona just drawing back the dough. She's doing her archery practice. And he's like, Her Highness? Well, it's the middle of the night. He's about to call out, Your Highness. And Huck comes up from behind him and silences him. And he's like, what? And Huck just whispers, let her be. Gidra goes, when did Her Highness take up archery? And Huck goes, before we met you, whenever she had free time, she'd fire a couple of 100 shots a night. And Gidra's like, a couple of 100? And Huck's like, keep it down. And he's like, why is she putting in so much effort? As long as I'm here, she doesn't need a weapon. And he's like, yeah, she doesn't need to do anything, because I'm around. But the princess can't forgive herself for being powerless. When her father was killed, she escaped the palace. She wanted to survive. She was ashamed that she couldn't do that alone. And he thinks back to her saying, he's always protected me. And he goes, she's struggling to find her path. And then Gidra's going, even though she's exhausted from the road. And he goes, aren't you going to stop her from using weapons? I don't want her in combat. And Huck goes, but I do want to see her fight through her problems. That's what people should do. And you see Gidra's going back to his resting place as he takes a stick and he's just like, I can't stand these bugs. So many bugs. And he's just smacking them out of the way. And he's just like, I want to be of use to her. I want to be helpful. He thinks back to her saying, but someday I want to protect him. And he goes, she feels the same way, doesn't she? And the next morning he slaps his face to get himself focused again. And he goes, all right, I'm going to grab you by the neck today, Blue Dragon. Wait and see. So Yona comes up and just grabs his hand. She goes, Gidra, did you get some sleep? He's like, huh? Oh. He's like, what about you? You must be tired. It seemed like you weren't getting much rest since you're not used to sleeping outdoors. Oh, no, sorry, it's Yona saying, it seemed like you weren't getting much rest since you're not used to sleeping outdoors. Take care of yourself. We can't do this unless you're in good health. So Gidra goes, am I being useful to you? And so she smiles at him and goes, of course, you're irreplaceable. And Gidra's just like, he just calls like thump, 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 thump. He's like, what? My chest feels tight. Is my dragon's blood getting stirred up again? And you see, I've got it. And Yun's like, the village of the Blue Dragon? I overlooked it. I figured it was uninhabitable, but it must be right by the border in those rocky mountains. On the next page, you see them coming into this stone village, which seems to be built into the very mountain itself. And Huck's like, I never pictured a village in a place like this. Yun's like, yeah, at a glance it looks like any old mountain. But Iksu told me a story about war refugees who took shelter in these mountains. And he calls out, hey Gidra, just a quick look at what the mountain village looks like. And you see Gidra's just standing over, fighting, surprise and shock. He goes, he's here. The Blue Dragon is very close by. And Yona's like, Gidra, are you sure? And he goes, yes. This is where the Blue Dragon is. So you have chapter 20, the Tunnel Dwellers. So you see them heading into this little rocky cavern. As Huck goes, they carved their home out of the rock? And Yun's like, hey, it's dangerous to just walk in like that. And Gidra's like, I don't care. Her Highness needs the 4 dragons. Yun's like, but look, when I sneaked into your village, I got locked up and almost killed. We should be more careful. And then you see up ahead these 2 cavern entrances covered by a rug. You see some villagers making their way out of it going, are you visitors? And so they look back in surprise. They go, do they live here? How should we handle this? And Gidra goes, bring the Blue Dragon to us. Yun's like, that's too blunt. The villagers just kind of looking confused. They go, Blue Dragon? There's no one here by that name. Gija goes, it's not a name. He has dragon's blood in his veins. There's no need to hide him. Tell him that she's waiting for him. And you see Yona just staring at her. The villagers glance at her. The villager goes, I don't know what you're talking about. You must be looking for a different place. This is merely a tiny, insignificant village. We are impoverished people who fled the many wars of the Fire Tribe to live in peace here. We don't want trouble. So you see in the back behind them, you see the villagers with these masks covering their faces. Just look there. And Gita's like, but, and Yona goes, I'm sorry. We've come a long way in search of someone, but I guess he's not here. She goes, we're exhausted from our journey and injured. And so Huck just bares his chest to show off all the bandages. And he goes, this once, I'll let you see. And she's like, could we rest here for a short time? And so the villager goes, it sounds as if you've had many trials. As you can see, we are very poor. We can't offer you much hospitality, but... And she goes, that's quite all right, thank you. And you see someone coming by her with what looks like a fox or a bear mask. And so Yona asks, why all the masks? And they go, it's a local custom. Those who are unmarried may not show their faces publicly. Yona's like, that's so interesting. And he goes, it must seem strange to outsiders. And he goes, oh, one more thing. The caverns are a labyrinth. Do try to stay put. We won't be responsible if anything happens to you. So you see them off on the side talking amongst themselves as they go, is this really the village of the Blue Dragon? It's like, why do you ask? And Yona's like, well, the White Dragon's village was so welcoming. These people didn't even blink at your red hair. Huck's like, they didn't try to capture us either. And Gija's just like, Your Highness, I definitely sense the Blue Dragon here. And you see, hey, that's silly. Gija's utterly sure. And he's like, I am, yes. And Huck's like, you're silly. And then he starts bickering again with them. And Yona's like, well, either way, we know the Blue Dragon's nearby. We can't do anything until we see him. Let's go now since no one's around. Yona's like, but they said it's like a maze. Will we be all right, Yun? Yun's like, Your Highness, I'm a pretty boy genius. I'll search the entire area and map it out. So you see a little montage as they make their way through all the tunnels. Yun's like, it's a dead end. Like, why can't we find the Blue Dragon? He's so rude. Gita's like, why isn't he showing himself? He must know we're nearby. And Huck's like, it's probably because you're so stuffy. And Yona's like, oh, that makes sense. The Blue Dragon can sense the White Dragon. Maybe he doesn't want to come out. In that case, maybe we should let him be. Gita's like, no, we shouldn't. Please don't give up. Like me, the Blue Dragon and his blood have a long, long history. So he should be waiting for a master who needs him. He's waiting for you. It's our entire reason for existence. We have no other desire. My father, the previous White Dragon, eagerly awaited a master, but he died without fulfilling that need. I'm sure of it. The Blue Dragon wants to meet you. And Yona goes, Gija, I'm not the Crimson Dragon King. And he goes, right, but I thought you were. And Yona goes, but Crimson Dragon King or not, I want your help. I'm sorry for being so selfish. And she smiles at him, and then you see him, just his heartbeat going thump, 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 thump. Again. And he's like, you do me too much honor. And Huck, you're just looking at Huck going, your face is all twisted, Thunder Beast. What a sour look. And then Yun suddenly shudders. He's like, listen, I think we should head back. I have a bad feeling about this place. Like, how so? And he goes, we're being watched. Someone's watching us really intently. Huck's like, I felt a strange presence too. The locals may have found us. Let's go. And then as they're going, Yuna notes the sound, Pukyu sound. And she looks back and goes, an animal? And as she puts her ear up to the rock, she presses on a secret rock panel, and a passageway opens up. And there's a passageway. And you hear, Pukyu, Pukyu, and you see this cute little squirrel just hopping in. And Yona's like, oh, you're adorable. And she's like, Huck, there's a little animal here. And you see a fwish and a huh? And then all the lights in the passage suddenly go out. And Yuna's like, the torches in the passage went out. She's like, Huck, Gija. It's like, no one's there. I don't know where to go. She's like, Yun, what do I do? And you hear someone asking, are you lost? Did you get separated from your friends? And Yona's like, yes, do you live here? And he's like, yes, give me your hand. I'll take you back to them. And Yona's like, thank you. He's like, thank goodness. He's like, I was so scared. I didn't know what I'd do. The village elder on the mysterious person says, the village elder told you this place was a maze. And Yona goes, I'm sorry, but there's someone I have to find. He's like, the blue dragon? And Yona's like, yes. So he goes, there's no such person. And then Yona goes, does this passage lead to someone's chambers? And then you see the stranger just repeatedly going, there isn't anyone, there isn't anyone, there isn't anyone, there isn't anyone. And Yona's like, wait, this isn't the way back to the others. Why are we heading down? And you see here that there's a bunch of passages, steps downwards. And Yona just shudders. And she's like, I can't pull free. And she's trying to pull her arm free from whoever's got her. And he's like, no, let go, stop. He's like, Huck, Huck. And then you hear as a ding as someone comes up behind her and puts an arm on her. And they've got on a mask and a little fur headdress. And then she's like, who's that? And the other person goes, ee! And just takes off, dashing away. With another ding, the mysterious person grabs her arm and starts taking her off. And she sees the cute little squirrel with the poo just perched on their shoulder. And she goes, the sound of bells. He's wearing a mask. Does he live here? Somehow, I'm not scared of him at all. And she's like, is it possible? And you're a princess, are you all right? You see Huck and Yuna coming up to her. And like Yun going up to her, like, you dummy, make sure you stay with us, you twit. And she's like, I'm sorry, but this person saved me. You see he just staring in surprise at them, and he goes, and then the person just darts away, and he's like, wait. And then Yun's like, what's the matter? And he's like, that person, that's the blue dragon. You see chapter 20 end. And we have 18 years ago, in Earth Tribe lands at the mountains near the border, in the village of the Blue Dragon, a new monster was born. You see the old man that greeted them in the village going, yes, an infant with the eyes of the Blue Dragon. He'll become the Blue Dragon one day. Won't this cursed power ever leave us? And what of the mother? She took her own life. She couldn't bear the realization that she'd given birth to a cursed child. Like, who will take care of the Blue Dragon? The current Blue Dragon according to the law. But for now, the baby must be masked before he comes into his power. So you see chapter 21, the blindfolded dragon. You see the baby blue dragon going, my first memory was of darkness. It's like, how is the blue dragon doing? It's like, he turned 4 this year. He and the previous blue dragon slip out of the village every night. It's like, they do? So it is true that they punish villagers. It's like, who? Leave? And you see these little kids playing with these spinning tops that go spin, spin, twirl, twirl. And you see an as it comes up to the bump against the little 4-year-old blue dragon. As he goes, oh, sorry. I was like, do you mind if I watch? And all the kids just shake, turn around in fear, and run away screaming with an And you hear blue dragon. And you see the former blue dragon coming by and yanking him away. So that's what the former blue dragon looks like. Going, ow! And he goes, come along. He's like, oh. And you see all the villagers turning away and just hiding their children from the blue dragon. He goes, I told you not to go outside. Why won't you listen? And he goes, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make friends. The blue dragon goes, oh. And did it look like you could make any friends? Well? He goes, that'll never happen. Now stay indoors. You're such a trial. So the baby blue dragon goes, ow, you were the blue dragon too, right? Why is everyone else scared of us? Is the blue dragon's power evil? And Owl goes, they say that anyone who sees the blue dragon's eyes turns to stone. And he's like, what? And Owl goes, the people of our village believe that stupid legend. That old story isn't true, but the eyes of the blue dragon are able to paralyze people who see them. And occasionally those people's hearts give out. Either way, it's an unsettling power. Oh, and you see the poor little blue dragon crying, and then Owl comes up and goes, don't cry, that's so annoying. He goes, but that means I really am cursed. He goes, that's right, by a monster called the Blue Dragon. He's like, it's ridiculous. Who cares about some ancient power? Why does it have to cling to this village? Even if a blue dragon dies, it gets replaced when a baby is born. Everyone insists on believing such utter nonsense. And you see a gasp as he notices something with a bam. And he's like, Owl's like, bad people are coming here. And Owl's like, are they close? And he goes, they've made camp. They're looking this way. And Owl's like, blast it. And he wobbles and falls over. The little baby dragon's like, oh. He's like, oh. He's like, don't bother with me. You see him shoving him away as he drags himself out. And he goes, Owl's eyes were getting weaker by day, but my eyes seemed to be absorbing his power. I could see farther and farther away. So you see way out past the mountains, you see a bunch of bandits sitting around a campfire, just having a little encampment. As they go, that town, huh? It's like, yeah, I hear there's some guy with weird powers. A dragon's power, they say. It sounds far-fetched, but it's a story that could catch some noble's fancy. If we catch him, maybe we can sell him for a heap of money. And you hear, oh, am I so valuable? And you see Owl coming out from behind them with the sword on his back, wearing the mask the current blue dragon's wearing, going, unfortunately for you, I'm nothing but an ordinary swordsman. I won't use any strange powers. You who threaten our village, your lives were short. Enjoy your next ones. So you see the baby dragon commenting, Owl was strong even when he couldn't see. And he goes, did you see how I used my sword? And he's like, yes. He's like, you need to learn swordsmanship and quickly. He's like, but why do you use a sword? Why not use your eyes on bad people? So Owl grabs him, drags him close. He goes, listen, Blue Dragon, those eyes are cursed. I'll teach you to control them, but you must never use them. If you do, you'll suffer for it too. You'll share the paralysis you inflict. It's a double-edged sword. But even if you don't use your power, you'll always be hated. People will target you because of it. The Blue Dragon's like, then if I don't use my eyes and protect the village with a sword, will I be able to make friends? And he goes, of course not. Owl just starts walking away. The Blue Dragon starts chasing after him. Owl, wait, please, don't leave me. And as he's walking away, you see Owl just putting out his hand. The baby Blue Dragon just smiles and runs up and grabs it. And he goes, Owl taught me how to use a sword. He taught me to use the power of my eyes. He was strict, but he kept on getting weaker. And you see, as he's facing off against two more bandits, and one of them swinging at him, and Owl just barely managed to deflect. You know, the little, oh no, yeah, you have the little baby dragon. Owl, are you okay? And the bandits take off with a skiff, and he's like, ee! And he goes, they ran away. They're gone, Owl. And you see his mask falls off with a thunk. And Owl just goes, I can't see. I can't see anything at all. And he goes, ha 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 ha! Yes! Finally, I can finally die. My power is gone at last. My body has gone numb. I'm free. I'm human. And you see Blue Dragon is kind of nervously looking around. And he sees the little ding as these two bells fall next to him. And he goes, as he's walking back, Owl's following the Blue Dragon. And he goes, did you always have those bells? And he goes, I picked them up. They're pretty. He's like, It's like, that's a good idea. It's like, I don't need to see to know where you are. And then you see the little Blue Dragon is shaking his head side to side to make the bells ding. And as he looks back, Owl was just crying. He goes, sorry. I'm sorry for leaving you alone. I'm so sorry. He goes, come on, Owl. Let's talk about something else. But I'm stupid, so I don't know what to say. Say something, Owl, please. Let me hear your voice. And you see the blue dragon just sitting in the corner of the hut, crying. You're the previous blue dragon? Like, yeah, finally. You lasted longer than most. I hear that when a new blue dragon is born, the old one loses his strength and slowly dies. I guess that means all of his wretched power has gone to the current blue dragon. And then you see him thinking back as he's shaking his head to hear the little bells ringing as he goes, that's a good idea. I don't need to see to know where you are. And you see a tear just streaming down his face under the mask with a ding as he goes, I'm right here. And you see a gasp as he looks outside and you can see something with his powers. And he goes, something's out there. It looks like a lot of soldiers. Those men who escaped told the Earth Tribe were here? What should I do? I'm not good enough with the sword to defeat them, but they'll find me right away because of my mask. If they learn the village's secret, if they know about us, what will happen? And you hear the thump as he's thinking back to Owl telling him, those eyes, never use them. And he goes, that's right. Everyone is scared of me and the village is in danger because I have this power. It's a curse. But even if it is, Owl, he takes off running. He goes, defended this village. And you see and you see rain streaming down. Some villagers go out to see what happened. And they're like, what happened here? And you see the little baby blue dragon going, I'm sorry, Owl. This power really shouldn't be used. And you see him just fall over in the middle of these group of soldiers who have just all fallen down dead. As you have chapter 21 end. You have chapter 22 calling to each other. You hear a ding as if my eyes are throbbing today. And you hear, no, let go, stop. And he's like an outsider, small, weak girl from the sound of her. He's like, Huck, Huck. And he goes, someone's trying to trap her underground. I can't let them do that. And then you hear as he sees Yona for the first time, he also goes to the same thing Gijo went through. He's like, Dragon Warriors. He's like, what's happening? You are now extensions of us. You must serve the Crimson Dragon. You must protect and love him all the days of your lives and never betray him. He's like, what's that voice? It was, my eyes are throbbing. When I touched that girl, I heard a voice in my mind. I thought I was going to collapse. And you think back to him hearing Yona say, wait, as you run, or Gijo saying, wait, as he runs away. And he goes, and the white dragon was there. Wait, what makes me think he was the white dragon? And he starts gritting his teeth and grimaces. He's like, why? Does my blood feel like it's boiling? He's like, my eyes. He's like, stay calm. No one can ever learn of my power again. And you hear one of the villagers try to drag you underground? And Gijo's just getting furious. He's like, curse them! First they dared to disrespect her highness, and then they try to imprison her? Are they trying to incur my wrath? Huck's like, settle down. Honestly, you rich punk. You get a little pissed off so you show your claws? What, you're gonna kill someone? Act like a grown-up. And Yona's like, that goes for you too, ex-general. He's like, the blue dragon made an appearance, but then he left. Or did he run away? Gijo's like, the blue dragon, these villagers? What exactly is happening here? And Yona's like, it might be a dragon village, but it's the complete opposite of the village of the white dragon. He's like, huh? Yun goes, this place seems unnatural after your village, but for all we know, how things are here is more the norm. The people here don't worship red hair, and they don't seem to see the power of the dragon gods as something special. The blue dragon might honestly think of us as intruders. And Gijo's like, that can't be. The 4 dragons wish to join their master as soon as possible. I left my village only half a day after meeting her highness. Yun's like, that's way too quick. See, that's definitely not normal. And just, Gijo just has a smug look. He's like, naturally. Yun's like, it's not a compliment. And Yona's like, but the blue dragon saved me. He has such gentle hands. I'd like to speak to him. And then they all look back at her and they're like, so, does that mean we're going back to the maze? He's like, yes. Like, you just had a terrifying experience, but you're not even phased. You've got guts, your highness. And Yun goes, let's go. There's something at that dead end, right? And you see it grab as Huck grabs and goes, you stay put, princess. And she's like, Huck? He goes, Yun and I will drag that dragon out by the tail. Yun's like, hey, I don't like violence. He's like, what are you saying? I should be the one to go. And Huck's like, go to it, White Snake. We're counting on you. Handle it on your own. And Gija's just like, what? And Huck's like, anyway, I don't want you going in again, princess. You should wait out here. And Yuna goes, no. Gija, Yun, and I will go in. You wait here. And Huck's taken aback by this. He goes, Gija can locate the blue dragon. Yun knows the paths to take. And once we find him, I have to meet the blue dragon. I believe that's what has to happen. Please. And Huck goes, someone needs to keep watch for those villagers out here. Since I'm not going with you, I guess that's my job. And Yona's like, I know I can count on you. Don't sulk. I'll try not to let the same things happen again. And she's staring at him and is like, Huck. He grabs her hands and goes, make sure you come back. If you don't, I'll never leave your side no matter how much it annoys you. And she's just like, Huck. And it's like, I don't want to be annoyed, so I'll be careful. So he gets mad at her. He's like, yeah, you do that. So Huck looks at her, Gija, and goes, hey, White Snake. He's like, I'm not White Snake. And Gija sees that Huck's got a serious face on as he goes, take care of her. Gija goes, I don't need reminding. So you have Huck going, they're watching. They've had their eyes on us all along. He goes, you guys are so creepy. Well, I guess I'll do my best to intimidate you. Your Highness, you're a little scared, aren't you? Or so you have Yun going, I mean, Thunder Beast isn't around. You've been shivering since we got here. Yun's like, don't say that out loud, Yun. When Huck's around, I end up relying on him too much. Like, well, he probably wants you to rely on him. And he's like, yeah, but Huck served my father, not me. And he's still following my father's orders even now. Yun's like, I doubt that's his only reason. Huck didn't like being a general or a bodyguard. And Yona's like, I'm still not up to it, but someday I'd like to give him back his freedom. You see, what? There's a hidden passageway in this dead end? It's like, yes, the blue dragon has to be there. It's like, alright, let's drag him out. And you see a rumble rumble as they press the secret panel, the door starts opening. Yona's like, look, it's opening. Wow, it's like, this is amazing. They're like, let's go, Gijo, what's the matter? And he's like, oh, nothing. He's like, the blue dragon shouldn't be far. I'll wait here, you go on ahead. And they're like, got it. So Yun and Yona make their way into the passage. And then Gijo turns around and goes, now, what might you want in this confined area? And you see a bunch of villagers with weapons and masks on coming to surround him as he goes, those who go past this point cannot be allowed to return. And he goes, silence, insolent fool. You have forgotten the importance of the Crimson Dragon. I am the White Dragon, and I shall not permit you to go near her. And you see the ding of the bell as the blue dragon goes, the White Dragon is nearby. Someone is coming down the passageway. He goes, oh, go hide. And he tells the squirrel, past the squirrel and tells it to go hide. And he goes, are they searching for me? Are they intruders? I can tell the villagers are worried. He goes, if they're enemies, I'll defeat them. So he's about to pull out. He's had his hand on his sword. And you see a light making its way down the passageway towards him as Yun's got a torch out. And as he sees Yuna again, his heart goes to thump. And she goes, hello there. And he goes, what's going on? What's happening to me? Who is she? So he just screams as he pulls out his sword and tries to intimidate her. And Yun's like, he's trouble, your highness. He lives in these tunnels and wears that mask. He's dangerous, seriously, I'm calling Gija. And then you see a Pokue as the squirrel comes running up to her. Yona's like, oh, hello again. It's like, huh? It's like, what's with this tiny animal? Its cheeks are so stuffed. It's got too much in there. So she looks at the blue dragon. It's like, what's its name? So the blue dragon's surprised. He's just like, it's Owl. It's like, oh, he answered. And Yona's like, that doesn't suit it at all. And Yona's like, try to meet him halfway, your highness. Try agreeing with him. Also, that thing is eating your earring. And the blue dragon's like, I guess it really doesn't. I agree with her. And Yona goes, thank you for saving me earlier. I'm Yona. What's your name? And he's silent for a moment. He goes, Blue Dragon. And she goes, no, your name. And she goes, that's not your real name, is it? And he goes, I don't have a name. I'm just called Blue Dragon. And And Yona starts walking towards him, and he puts up his sword in front of him and goes, "Stay back!" It's like, "Who are you people? Why have you come to this village? Why are you approaching me? Why is the white dragon?" He's like, "Why? Why do I yearn?" And Yona goes, "I came all this way to see you, blue dragon. I want you to lend me your strength. I want you to come with me." And the blue dragon goes, "I yearn to meet this girl." You have 23 echoes of fear. And you see, as Yona says, "I want you to lend me your strength. I want you to come with me." You see him thinking back, going, "My strength?" And he thinks back to that time when he took out all the soldiers. And he grabs her by the arm and puts his sword to her throat, And he was like, "Your Highness." And he goes, "Enemy, those who want the power of the blue dragon are enemies." You can see his hand trembling as he's holding the sword. And you hear, "Dragon warriors, you are now extensions of us." And you see that Yona's completely unfazed by his intimidation. And as he goes, What are you?" It's like, "I don't know you." It's like, "Why is my hand shaking?" It's like, "Why?" It's like, "I feel like crying." Yona's like, "Blue dragon, I am not your enemy. My friends and I are trying to find the 4 dragon warriors in order to survive. I want to welcome you as a friend." He's like, "A friend?" He's like, "Friend." It's like, "But I am cursed." So Yona's like, "Cursed?" And he goes, "My power must never be known to the outside world. It is a power of destruction." And Yona goes, "Who told you that?" He goes, "It's the truth. I won't use the power of my eyes anymore." And Yona's like, "So, you won't come with us? There's no convincing you?" He goes, Leave this place." And Yun's like, "Yes, your highness." And Yona goes, "Let me say just one thing. Your hand was so warm. I don't know what this curse is, but if that warm touch belongs to someone who's cursed, then I don't see the problem. It doesn't bother me." And you see them taking off back down the tunnel as the bells just start dinging again. And you see a thump as his heart starts pounding. He goes, "My heart feels like it's being torn apart." Thinks back to Yuna saying, "I want to welcome you as a friend." Yes, Emma's making a little introductory cameo in this. Yeah, okay, cutie. He was just taking a nap below that desk earlier. So he thinks back to a friend. He's like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, I just want to make friends. I'd forgotten all about that." You have Yuna going, "You don't look thrilled with how that went down, your highness." And you have Yuna just kind of pouting. And she goes, "That room was so empty. I wonder if he eats properly. I feel like I'm walking away and leaving someone important to me in a dark cage. It's strange. We only just met." And I hear some kind of commotion. And as they make their way back out of the tunnel, Yuna's like, "Gija." He's like, "Ah," it's like, "Stand back, your highness." And you see the villagers going, "There, they came back. Dispose of them. Who are these people?" So Gija goes, "They want to eliminate us to keep the blue dragon secret. But don't worry, I won't use my power on ordinary people." And you see him just bonk one of them on the head and their mask falls off. And Yona's like, "You're still using the fist that's 10 times stronger than average." He's like, "Why must you do this?" Gija's like, "Your highness." It's like, "It's dangerous." He's like, "It's like, hey, there's not enough room in there for that." And you see a rumble. It's like, "What, an earthquake?" It's like, "Your highness." And then Huck notices something. He's like, "Is it an earthquake?" And you see Princess Yona and the others are down that tunnel. And you see an earth cave in as rocks just block the tunnel entrance. And he's like, "This can't be." And Huck just starts trying to pull at the rocks to unearth it. And he goes, "Princess, you and White Snake." He thinks back to Yona telling him, "I'll try not to let the same thing happen again." And he slams his hand on the rock and goes, "I shouldn't have let her go. I never should have. Why didn't I guess this would happen? How could I not protect her here?" So he goes on to his knees. He goes, "Please, King Ill, don't take her away." And you see, "Huck, I'm scared. I really am. I tried to do my best without you, but I was so frightened that I went looking for you. I feel so weak. I don't want to give in." Then you hear, "Your Highness." And she wakes up. It's like, Gija's like, "Are you all right?" He's like, "Huh? What happened?" And he goes, the earthquake stopped, but it's no good. The exit is blocked. He's like, we can't get out? It's like, no, this can't be. He's like, are we going to die down here? It's like, hey, this is serious. And Yuan's like, we're trapped in this tiny space with so much people. The air will run out soon. And Yona's kind of starting to get scared. He's like, breathing is getting harder. Am I going to die? And why must you say things like that? And Yona's just like, huh? It's like, Gija? It's like, I'm so sorry. I suddenly remember what that insolent man said. I can hear his voice in my head. It's infuriating. Protecting you is my job. He doesn't need me to tell me what to do. Yona's like, I'm feeling a little better. He's like, It's like, so am I. He's like, as long as I'm here, there's no need for concern. And so he unravels the bandages around his arm. And she's like, Gija's like, why are you bringing out your claw? And he goes, I'm going to dig. And she's like, what? And you see the villagers freaking out. It's like, he's a monster, as you see his enormous dragon claw. And he goes, stop your squalling. You're supposed to be protectors of the village of the blue dragon. That's pathetic. I told you I'm the white dragon. The villagers like, the white dragon? He really exists? There's someone other than the blue dragon with cursed powers? And one of the villagers starts screaming, goes, I can't take this anymore. Let me out of here. I never wanted to live in this hold, but because of him. It's like, why is the blue dragon's power a curse? Or Yona's asking, why is the blue dragon's power a curse? He had such gentle hands. He's not evil. The villager goes, what would an outsider know? A monster with dragon eyes is always born to a member of our tribe. We live in terror of that power. And even when the blue dragon dies, someone else's child takes up the mantle. We fear that our child might be next. We live in fear until we die. We mustn't allow anyone to spread this curse to the outside world. When a blue dragon is born, we place a mask on him and don't allow him outside. That is our law. And yet, 14 years ago, the blue dragon used its unholy powers and slaughtered a group of soldiers. He was only 4 years old. Ever since, we've been scared that the army would come after us, so we moved here. I can't bear it anymore. If this isn't a curse, I don't know what it is. You have Gija going, he's here, as you hear the ding-ding of the bells as the blue dragon makes his way back into the cavern. The villager's like, eek, look, the blue dragon. He's like, I didn't say anything. He's like, I didn't talk to those outsiders. He's like, I was like, stay back, monster. Don't kill me. See, the villager's reeling back. He's like, stay away. And he slaps him and knocks the mask off. As you see Yona going, I don't know what his curse entails, but I do know that he has breathtakingly beautiful eyes, as we finally see the face of the current blue dragon. And the volume ends there. So, quick recap, I guess, of this volume. The blue dragon has a very, very tragic past. Like, that almost made me start tearing up when I was reading it. But I do like this approach where the author's trying to differentiate how the different tribes and villages have kind of reacted to the dragon's power. We have the white dragon, who's the villagers were all kind of accepting of the powers and kind of revered it and all that, despite, kind of like the monstrousness associated with it. And then on the other hand, you have the blue dragon, who's gone the complete opposite route, and whose villagers see it as a curse rather than a blessing, and kind of have isolated him away from everyone else. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how this will then play out with the other two dragons and their respective curses, and kind of how the villages and everything get treated around that. Apart from that, I'm going to reiterate, I like the push towards Yona being like, I want to be more independent. I want to be, more helpful. I don't want to just be a burden on everyone else. And I'm hoping once we see more of that, I'm hoping we see less of Huck and the others being like, we can't let her do that. We can't let the princess be in danger and all that, because it's understandable why they're acting like that, why they feel so protective of her. But I hope we get to the point where they kind of acknowledge that she is independent and, and is able to take care of herself, and they can trust her to do whatever needs to be done. So I'm hoping we eventually start seeing the progress towards that. Other than that, I like how, I want to say, restrained kind of the magic I want to say is so far, because right now kind of have it labeled as a curse with the dragons and everything else, and I want to find out exactly what the blue dragons power and everything else, but it hasn't been something, it doesn't seem like something that's too overpowered or too or which, like, the scope and scale of which isn't too big in like any other series. It'd be like, someone punches the ground, suddenly there's earthquakes everywhere, stuff like that. So I like how restrained it is in that manner. I'll be interested in seeing how that plays out as well. Because if Yona's going to have this power on her side, I wonder how we're going to see that kind of used on the other side as like a countermeasure to that. I'm wondering if we're going to see Suwon starting to get his hands on his own kind of magic powers or something. This is going to be speculation, but if it turns out one of the dragons did betray her and go to his side, that would be kind of an interesting direction to take that. But yeah, apart from that, I guess we'll see what happens in the next volume. It looks like the next couple at least will be it's kind of slowly meeting the other dragons, getting them drafted into Yona's army, and I guess setting up the kind of bigger conflict between her and Suwon. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But like I said, it'll probably be a while before the next volume of this read-through comes out. I'm going to tentatively say it'll be about mid to end of January when Volume 5 will be on the channel. But in the meantime, I will do catch up on Vinland Saga, Alita, the latter of which I'm getting pretty close to getting caught up on as well. And I'll also be starting Descender, which should be coming to the channel sometime this weekend. So there's a lot of content to look forward to, and I hope you all enjoy everything that's about to hit the channel. And I hope you've enjoyed the Yona read-throughs so far. But yeah, I'm going to end this off by saying, if you do like my content and all that, please do, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm getting really close to 100 followers, so it'd be really great if I could cross that threshold sometime in the next little while. But yeah, glad you all stuck around for this. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, this is Ash. I'll talk to you all later.